In today's warm-up, we are going to be finding an average, which you already know how to do, but instead of having the traditional list of whole numbers, we're actually going to be finding that average using a list of integers. So in this particular scenario, John has played a round of golf, which of course is 9 holes, and these are his scores for each hole. And we're asked to find his average. Now what I like to do before I do anything is to put my list of integers in order from least to greatest. Even though we're not asked to do anything in particular with these, it really does help us to make sure that we stay organized. You'll also notice that as I do this, I underline them in my original list. That ensures that I don't forget any, or that I don't write one twice. That I'm not supposed to, because of course there were 2 negative 1s and 2 zeros there. Wait a second. There's actually 3 negative 1s. I just noticed that. So see, that's precisely what I was just talking about. We want to make sure that we don't forget any. And the best way to do that is not to cross them out, because if we cross them out, then we can't go back and read them if we need to. So I underline them like I said. And then I've got 2 positive 2s. And the other thing I want to do is make sure that I count them and I have the same number in both lists, the same number of integers. So up here I've got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I know there's 9 holes, and down here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know some of you don't like to do that extra work, but it really is an extra check to make sure that you have everything that you're supposed to, and it prevents you from making a silly mistake. Okay, so now I know when I find an average that I add together all of the numbers that have been given. So I'm going to rewrite that list as a list of numbers that I'm going to be adding together. Now you'll notice I am now putting those negative 1s in parentheses. The purpose of doing that is to separate my addition sign from the negative sign. Some of you have been getting confused, thinking that once there's parentheses there that you're supposed to do something with those first, but there's nothing inside the parentheses to do, and you just certainly don't address them first, because when we add or subtract, we go in order from left to right. Now, because we are only adding, only addition, we should remember the commutative property tells us that we can actually add in any order. Now this would not work if we were subtracting. It only works because we are in fact adding. So what I want to do is add together all of my negative numbers, my zeros, and all of my positive numbers. In doing that, it will make it easier at the end, because I'll just have one negative number and one positive number to add to each other. So here I've got negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. Bring down the rest. And you'll notice that I'm still funneling down, even though I'm now approaching it a little bit differently. Negative 3 plus negative 1 is negative 4 plus negative 1. And negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5. Bring this down. This is, of course, 0. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2. And 3 plus 2 is 5. So I'm actually going to now take this onto my next page. So I've now got negative 5 plus 0 plus positive 5. Well, I know when I add 0 to anything, it really doesn't change, so I can make 0 go away, and I know I've got positive 5 plus 5. These two are opposites, or, if you remember from previous lessons, they are also a 0 pair, because they are the same. And I know that 0 pairs makes each other cancel out, so this is going to give me 0. Now you might be inclined to stop here, but you have to remember that you are supposed to be finding an average. So I still need to show the work of finding that average. So here's my total. Remember, when I find an average, I have the total divided by the number of integers. That is not a hashtag, by the way. That is a number sign. So the total is 0. The number of integers is 9. Anything, when you divide 0 by any number, it's always going to be 0. Remember, if you have 0 cookies between 9 friends, all 9 of your friends get 0 cookies. That's what we need to think about. And there we go. That right there is your answer. You can put 0 average.